Hello, audio fans and music listeners. My name is Gavin. I am your host here at the Audiophile Wannabe Show. And second video today. Had the day off from work and wanted to do a lot of music listening today. And man, a lot of neat stuff going on as far as listening to music. But I have to confess, I want to just give some initial thoughts, initial impressions. This one's going to be tough. Not going to lie to you. Got a pair of speaker cables, two, that I'm doing a little test on, comparative analysis, and they're right over here. As you can see, this is the AUDIOQUEST Rocket 33. Got the spades on one end, spade terminals, and the bananas on the other. But the Rocket 33 by AUDIOQUEST cable, doing a comparative analysis on those. I'm talking that way, don't know if you can hear me, a comparative analysis to the GR Research, I can't get that oriented, the GR Research speaker cables that Danny makes. So I've been doing that this afternoon, and this one's tough. And the reason being is there are definitely benefits that are slightly different from one another, and they're both wonderful cables. But the primary difference between the two that I've noticed so far is the spatial benefit. I'll just say that the textural spatial benefits that the Rocket 33 cables provide compared to the articulation that Danny's cables bring. So, for example, I've been listening to, I went straight to Yoshi Horikawa's music. I can't talk now. I went straight to Yoshi Horikawa's music to just test these speaker cables and listen to all that's in his music off of the album Spaces. Y'all have heard me talk about that one a little bit if you've seen any of my videos. And just right off the bat, started with the AUDIOQUEST cables and the songs Timbers, Mine, Vietnam, and Moldy Vinyl. The spatial benefit to these cables is just astounding. You can hear so much decay between the instruments and all the sounds. It's amazing. It really provides a wonderful sensation of having a large environment in your room, a huge soundstage. And just while I'm saying soundstage, just want to point out that both cables have about an equally as well-defined and articulate soundstage. They image very well. I think they image the same. So the location of the various instruments or sounds in space is about spot on with both cables. But the reason I say that the AUDIOQUEST may seem a bit more spacious is just being able to hear the decay of certain sounds cascade for a little bit longer period of time. That may seem to give it a sense of just a more open room. Contrast to Danny's cables, which are more articulate, meaning that they do tend to sound slightly more refined so far on the music that I've listened to in this room. So I've been doing this in here today for for two reasons. Number one, the AUDIOQUEST cables have spade connectors on this pair. You can get them however you want with whatever kind of connectors, but this pair has spade connectors on one end, and as you may know, I put the tube connectors on my Fortes recently, and the Cambridge AXR 100 does not accept spades, so the binding post on the back of it will take everything else but spades. So I was kind of stuck and talked to the guys from Klipsch today. I think they're going to send me a set of terminal cups for the Fortes, so I do have a nice set of binding posts that are copper that I'll put in those and be able to run those in the Fortes when I want to test out these AUDIOQUEST cables. So give me about a week and a half or two, and I'll be able to give you a better assessment on the contrast between these two cables from my primary listening room. But listening in here, as you can see, I've got the Heresy ones going at the moment with the Realistic STA 2300 receiver, and the sound in here is fantastic. I was shocked with both cables at just how well the soundstage fills the entire front of the room. It's huge soundstage, in a room that doesn't really have any treatment. So that speaks very well to the benefit of both cables. So now I will say this about Danny's cables being a little more articulate. I did pull out a Rush CD. Used to be a big Rush fan, so I'm very well acquainted with their music. Know a lot of their music like the back of my hand. So pulled out the Signals album and listened to a number of songs off of the Signals album. First with the AUDIOQUEST cables, which it was neat to hear that kind of spatial benefit on some of their songs. I was particularly curious to hear how they would sound on the song Losing It, which has a guest, not a guest speaker, but a guest musician, a guy named Ben Mink, who was a violinist. He did an electric violin solo on that song, beautiful solo. And the AUDIOQUEST cables did provide a little more spatial benefit. However, if you're familiar with Rush fans and Rush music, articulation proved out to be the choice here so far, at least in this room. And I think listening to the Heresies may have something to do with that, simply because those K55 drivers in the horns tend to be a bit bright. So once I get the speakers going with the different binding posts and the fortes in the main listening room, I have a feeling it's going to be a different scenario as far as which proves to be better for which case scenario. But so far, for an initial impression, can't choose either one. Very hard to say. I think it depends on the mood, depends on what you feel like listening to. You listen to cables and different components in one room on one system. You listen to them in one room on one system. It'll be a different scenario in the next system that you listen to the same components in. So looking forward to doing some more listening here in the office, and then also looking forward to listening to them again next week when I get the terminal cups put in the Forte ones with the other binding posts, and we'll do some deeper analysis and try to give you a better contrast and analysis of how these two cables fare with one another. But so far, pretty darn impressed with both of them and how they have features and benefits that aren't necessarily cons. I just see them both as pros. It just so far just depends on what you like. So again, very impressed so far. Just wanted to give you some initial impressions on the AUDIOQUEST Rocket 33 cables compared to the GR Research speaker cables. But we'll let you know more in the near future when more data is readily available. So until then, we'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.